Okay, here I am again with my Anet A8 3D printer, and if you do a search on this, you'll find there are a number of upgrades to this thing, like 20 different things they tell you should do to it, and I'm going to give you the ones that I think are important and you actually need. I guess first of all, I'm going to try and do this in order of importance. You can't see that little gear. So what happens is you have this belt here that is a grooved belt. I don't know if you can see that. So that is a grooved belt, and that is a smooth pulley. So what happens is this bed goes back and forth, and it kind of shakes as you do that. And one of the upgrades is to replace, or not replace, but install this little pulley here that has some gears on it so that it goes back and forth smoothly. And that's actually a very helpful thing and will eliminate a lot of imperfections in your printing. One of the other things here, so I would recommend that, and you can also put one over here for the Y belt, and I have one in there. I don't know if you can see it. So that's a good update and recommended. These little things here, the bed adjustment knobs, it's kind of a funny thing where to adjust the bed height and everything and level the bed, it's kind of frustrating with those wing nuts, but if you put those little thumb screws on there, it's very helpful. But the thing is, you level the bed, and then I don't really level the bed too often, maybe once a month, or if I'm doing a large project, then I'll go and check the level on the bed and make sure that it's good. But it's very handy because it's not easy to adjust those wing nuts, and those things are very helpful and give you a good adjustment on it. The other thing is very important. I put a new fan duct on there. The fan duct that comes with it is really stupid because it actually kind of blasts the air down onto the nozzle instead of the plastic. So this guy here you can download off a thing. All this stuff you can download off a Thingiverse. And I have a piece of tape on it. I have to print a new one of these because it doesn't fit in there quite right, but I have a little piece of tape on it. But so the fan duct is something that I would recommend. We'll go to one of the big things they recommend is the MOSFET upgrade, and you can't really see that too well, but what that does is dissipates the power to the extruder and the bed, because too much power goes through the board and it can fry your board. So it cost me like $10 for a set of the $10 or $12 for a set of those MOSFETs, and I printed out that MOSFET folder thing there. I don't know if you can see that, which I think is a good thing. Don't cry. If you're printing stuff less than 2 hours and you're just printing with PLA, your motherboard, your system, it's not going to overheat and burn up. So if you're printing stuff other than PLA and you're printing longer than 2 hours, you definitely want to get those MOSFETs just to make sure that you don't have a problem. It's good reassurance. One of the best things is the plate here. I have a piece of glass on there. Originally you get a metal bed and you're supposed to put tape on it, and I had a fight with stuff sticking to the plate. This piece of glass cost me like $3, maybe $3.10. And you put that down. I use some dielectric grease, and dielectric grease is something that transfers heat. So you just squirt a little bit on there, you put your plate on it, and as it heats up, that dielectric grease dissipates and transfers the heat from the bed to the glass. Hold on a minute. So then you want to put some super glue on the last bed. And I gotta tell you, I've tried like 4 different types of super glue or glue stick, and the dollar store stuff didn't seem to work, and I forget what else I used didn't work. And so this is Elmer's all-purpose clear glue stick, and that stuff has worked the best for me as far as getting the stuff to stick to the plate. So there is an upgrade for adding something here to adjust the height of it. That's just stupid. I don't know why you would need that, because once you get it adjusted, then you don't have to mess with it again, and you level the bed and you're done. There are hundreds of filament guides and spool holders that I have no idea why. I have mine running up over the top with a little clip, and that works just fine. And I actually have my spool on the floor here. And what does help is I made these little ends for the spool. You can see that. Okay. And one there. Yes, one is blue and one is orange because I ran out of filament when making the second one. So I switched from orange filament to blue filament. But it's sitting on the floor, and I've never had a problem with it. It pulls up and works just fine. Some people recommend that you solder the wires to the bed. I have not had a problem with that, and it heats up just fine. So I have no idea why you would want to do that. The power supply, I haven't had a problem with it. It's not that, it's a little bit warm, but I don't see the need to replace the power supply. We were in the middle of talking about the power supply upgrade yesterday, and the batteries burned out in my camera again, so I have to go get another package of batteries. But anyhow, so the power supply seems to work just fine as is. I'm not going to worry about it. It works just fine. It doesn't seem to be getting too hot. Other upgrades, you can buy a new motherboard for these things. You can buy all the parts for them. And there's also the bearings that this bed slides on. You can replace those. These seem to work okay. If they wear out, maybe I'll get the new ones, but what comes with it seems to work just fine. What you do want to get, go to the dollar store, get yourself one of these. Works great. So then every once in a while clean that. And what's funny is as far as putting glue on the bed here, if I'm printing a whole bunch of little things, you don't need to put glue on the bed every time that you do this. In other words, you can put some glue on there and probably print a half a dozen or a dozen things before you clean it and put new glue on there. Of course, if you're going to print something large that's going to take a lot of time, you don't want to waste filament. It's a good idea to go ahead and clean it, and you can clean it like this, get that all off of there, and I use a little bit of dollar store awesome orange and clean it real good every once in a while, and then start over with a fresh clean bed. So as far that's about it on the upgrades. Gave you the highlights of the things that I think are necessary, and that's that. So enjoy your printer and have fun with it. Alright.